She said you can't expect me to be loyal. I'm young, I'm hot, and I have options. I just nodded, then forwarded her quote to her dad along with the vacation receipts I'd paid for. 3 days later she was screaming into my intercom while I turned up the volume on my TV. Hey viewers. Huge thanks to everyone who's already subscribed. We're getting super close to 10,000. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and help us reach that milestone. Monday evening I called Monica's apartment and asked if I could speak with her father about something important. He's here for dinner, she said, sounding confused. Is everything okay? Just need to talk to him about something. It's important. Robert got on the phone at 8:40 p.m. By Wednesday morning his daughter's financial support was getting some serious conditions attached. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about Sunday night when Monica 23F decided to explain her dating philosophy to me. I'm 28, own a plumbing business, do pretty well for myself. Monica works part-time at a salon when she feels like it, spends most of her time at the gym or creating content for social media. We've been together about 10 months. Her dad Robert owns a chain of auto repair shops. Family has money. Monica gets a monthly allowance that covers most of her expenses, plus he helps with rent and car payments. I knew she was used to a comfortable lifestyle but figured that's normal for successful families. Didn't bother me since I was doing fine on my own. Sunday we got back from a weekend in Vegas that I'd paid for. Nice hotel, good restaurants, shows, the works. Cost me about $3,000, but Monica had been excited about it for months. She was going through photos on her phone, posting the best ones to her Instagram story, making sure everyone could see she was living well. Thanks for this weekend, babe, she said while editing photos. These pictures are getting crazy engagement. Glad you enjoyed it. I always enjoy nice things. That's the whole point of having standards. I was half watching TV when her phone buzzed with a DM notification. She smiled at whatever she was reading, typed back something, smiled again. Who's messaging you? Just Trevor from the gym. You don't know him. Trevor was a name I'd heard mentioned before. Some guy who'd been liking all her photos and sending messages. Monica always said he was harmless. Just another admirer. What's Trevor want now? He's commenting on the Vegas pictures, asking if I'm seeing anyone seriously. She said this casually, like it was normal conversation. What did you tell him? That it's complicated. I muted the TV. How is it complicated? Well, it is complicated. We're not engaged. We're not living together. We're just dating. Dating exclusively for 10 months. She looked up from her phone. Exclusively according to who? According to the relationship we've been in since last year. Jake, you're sweet, but you need to understand something about me. I'm 23 years old. I look like this. She gestured at herself, and I have options. You can't expect me to be loyal just because we've been hanging out for a while. I stared at her. Hanging out, dating, whatever you want to call it. The point is I'm not ready to settle down with anyone. I'm young, I'm hot, and guys are constantly interested in me. Why would I limit myself? Because we're supposed to be in a committed relationship. That's your interpretation. I never agreed to be exclusive. Monica, you're my girlfriend. I introduced you to my family as my girlfriend. Labels don't mean ownership, Jake. I'm not gonna turn down opportunities just because you think we're serious. What kind of opportunities? Dating opportunities, social opportunities. If someone more interesting comes along, I'm not gonna ignore that. She went back to her phone like this was all perfectly reasonable. So you're planning to cheat on me? I'm planning to keep my options open. If something happens with someone else, that's just me living my life. And what am I supposed to do while you're exploring your options? You're supposed to understand that girls like me don't usually end up with guys like you long term. That one hit different. Guys like me. Working guys. You're successful for what you do, but let's be realistic about social levels here. My dad didn't build his business so I could marry a plumber. Does your father know you feel this way? My father wants me to be happy. He understands that I need someone who can match the lifestyle I'm used to. She started typing to Trevor again, probably telling him how available she was feeling. I sat there processing what she just told me. 10 months of what I thought was a relationship, and she'd been treating it like casual dating while shopping for someone better. Here's the thing. I was proud of what I did and made good money doing it. But the casual way she said it, like I was just entertainment until a better option appeared. That stung. Monica, let me make sure I understand this correctly. Understand what? You said you're young and hot and have options. So I can't expect loyalty. Right. And you said girls like you don't usually end up with guys like me long term. That's just reality, Jake. And you're planning to keep exploring other opportunities while I'm paying for your vacations. Now you're making it sound bad. I appreciate what you do for me, but that doesn't mean I owe you exclusivity. I had heard enough. Time to let her father know exactly what his money was supporting. The phone call that started it all. Monday morning I was replacing a kitchen faucet, thinking about what Monica had said. The more I thought about it, the more it bothered me. Not the breakup part. If she wanted to date around, that was her choice, but the using part. Taking my money for expensive trips while openly planning to find someone better. Acting like I should be grateful for the privilege of funding her lifestyle while she shopped for upgrades. During lunch I pulled up the Vegas receipts on my phone. Hotel, restaurants, shows, spa treatments, shopping, $3,000 in 2 days for someone who just told me she was keeping her options open. That evening I called Robert. We'd met several times, seemed like a good guy who worked hard and had traditional values about family and relationships. Hey Robert, it's Jake. Hope I'm not calling too late. Not at all, Jake. How are things? That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about. Monica and I had a conversation yesterday that I think you should know about. Oh, is everything okay? I'm not sure. She explained some things about her approach to relationships that surprised me. And since you're supporting her lifestyle, I thought you should hear it directly. What kind of things? I told him about Sunday's conversation. Her comments about keeping options open, not being expected to be loyal. Guys like me not being long-term material for girls like her. She said this to you directly. Word for word. Right after we got back from Vegas, which I paid for completely. Long pause. That's very concerning, Jake. Let me talk to Monica about this first and get her side of the story. I understand. I just thought you should know what happened. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. I'll need to have a serious conversation with her about this. I appreciate you taking this seriously, Robert. I take family values seriously. Using people while looking for something better isn't acceptable behavior. Tuesday evening, Monica called me around 7 p.m. Jake, I had a really difficult conversation with my father yesterday. He said you called him about something I said to you. I told him about our conversation yesterday. What conversation? The one where you explained that you're keeping your options open and that guys like me aren't long-term material for girls like you. Silence. Then you told my father that I told him exactly what you told me. Jake, you can't just run to my family when we have relationship discussions. I didn't run to anyone. I shared information. I thought he should have as the person funding your lifestyle. That's private between us. Nothing's private when you're openly planning to use me while shopping for someone better. I wasn't using you. I was being honest about where I am in life. You were being honest about treating me like temporary entertainment while I pay for your experiences. That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you meant. You just didn't expect me to tell the person writing your checks. Jake, please call my father back and clarify that this was just a misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding. You were very clear about your intentions. My father is talking about putting conditions on my allowance now. Sounds like good parenting. This isn't fair. What I said was private. What you said was disrespectful to both me and your father's support. Hung up and ignored her follow-up calls. Wednesday morning, Robert called me while I was driving to a job site. Jake, I had a long conversation with Monica yesterday about what you told me. How did that go? She confirmed the conversation happened though. She tried to downplay what she meant, but her attitude about relationships and the people supporting her was clear enough. What are you planning to do about it? Starting immediately, her allowance comes with expectations. She needs to show appreciation for what she receives and respect for the people who care about her. That sounds reasonable. I'm also requiring her to contribute to her own expenses. Time she learned the value of what she's been taking for granted. Wednesday evening, Monica showed up at my apartment building, buzzing my intercom. Jake, we need to talk. My father is being completely unreasonable. I looked at her through the building's camera system but didn't buzz her up. Jake, I know you're there. Please let me come up. I turned up the volume on my TV and continued watching. My father cut my allowance in half and says I have to get a full-time job now. The action movie I was watching had some good explosion scenes, really loud ones. Jake, please. I'm sorry about what I said Sunday. I was just being dramatic. She buzzed for another 10 minutes before giving up. Thursday she tried calling from different numbers. Jake, it's Monica. Please don't hang up. What do you want? I want to apologize and explain what I really meant Sunday. You explained perfectly. You're young, hot, and have options. You don't want to be tied down to a plumber. I was wrong to say that. I was just scared about getting too serious too fast. You weren't scared. You were being honest for the first time in 10 months. That's not true. I care about you. You care about what I provide. There's a difference. Jake, my father is making me pay my own rent now. I can't afford my apartment on what the salon pays me. Sounds like it's time for that full-time job. Please just call my father and tell him you misunderstood what I said. I understood perfectly. So did he. You're ruining my life over one conversation. You ruined it yourself when you explained how little you think of the people supporting you. I hung up and blocked that number too. That was 6 weeks ago. Haven't heard from Monica directly since, but I've gotten updates through mutual friends. Robert followed through on his new expectations, cut her allowance significantly, required her to cover her own rent, made her get a real job with consistent hours. Monica struggled with the transition from Instagram lifestyle to working retail full-time. Turns out taking orders from managers is different from taking selfies at the gym. She had to move to a cheaper apartment with roommates. No more solo photo shoots in her designer kitchen. Her Instagram content shifted from luxury lifestyle to motivational quotes about growth and learning experiences. Trevor from the gym lost interest quickly once she needed actual emotional support instead of just validation. Apparently guys who slide into DMs aren't usually looking for complicated relationship situations. Monica tried moving back home, but Robert had conditions. Contribute to household expenses, follow house rules, no entitled behavior about money or lifestyle. She lasted less than a week before deciding independence was better. Last I heard, she was working multiple part-time shifts to make ends meet and asking Robert for a position at one of his shops. He told her she could start as a receptionist at entry-level pay if she was serious about changing her attitude toward work and money. Me, I'm doing fine. Business is good. Finances are stable. No one's explaining why they're too good for me while cashing checks I write. Started seeing someone new recently. Lisa's a nurse who works hard and pays her own way. When I told her about the Monica situation, she said anyone who thinks they're above honest work probably isn't good for much else. The conversation with Robert accomplished exactly what it needed to. It showed him who his daughter really was underneath the daddy's princess act. Monica thought she could play loving girlfriend while shopping for upgrades, all funded by family money and my vacation spending. She thought being young and attractive meant she could use people without consequences. Instead, she learned that financial support comes with expectations, and those expectations include basic respect for the people providing it. Robert wasn't cutting her off to be cruel. He was teaching her that taking advantage of people's generosity while openly disrespecting them has consequences. Monica wanted options and freedom to explore better opportunities. Now she has them. She's free to work 2 jobs, free to split rent with roommates, free to learn what life costs when you have to pay for it yourself. The Intercom incident was perfect. She went from explaining how guys like me weren't long-term material to begging me to fix her financial situation with her dad. Sometimes the best response to being used is just making sure the right people know they're being used to. Monica was honest about her intentions. I was honest about sharing that information with the person funding those intentions. She learned that biting the hand that feeds you works both ways. When you disrespect people's support, don't be surprised when the support stops coming. The conversation she thought was private between us affected her father's decision about continuing to enable her lifestyle. Natural consequences for unnatural entitlement. Robert heard exactly who his daughter was and made a parenting decision based on his own values about respect and appreciation. Perfect example of why honesty matters in both directions.